certain that we will make like an excursion in there and maybe because there's a lot of info about it. Yeah. A lot of wires. And I have a couple of people.
Are you talking yet?
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Let's get that mic closer to you so you don't have to. Yeah, move the whole stand back.
So Marvette, you said you put that back into 8, the amp mic?
Yeah, that's the name. That's the number on the thing. Is it still plugged in? I didn't check. I didn't check the board, whatever at the back or anything.
Maybe he can put his chair a little this way. I don't know if this camera is looking at the side of his face.
Okay.
That cable really wants to get crushed very badly, and it's going to get crushed. It keeps jumping under there.
You keep your eye on the cable.
Yeah.
Cables have intelligence, and they want to either snake or get crushed. One of the two.
Really?
They like snake
Oh,
around
so,
like this.
I know.
They have their own life.
It is so amazing.
Or they want to get
Put
crushed.
2 wires close to each other and they tangle.
Say something, Paul, please.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Okay, can everyone hear me? Yeah, good. Okay. Let me know when I'm on. Ready to go. Okay, I'm on it. Okay, hello. Back in 1993, Jana Hart, Doug Craycraft, now Doug Truth, and myself were going to the Santa Rosa Health and Harmony Festival. We were here. We were going there. We had some books. We had music cassettes. We were going to set up a table and sell stuff. And the word came from the land we had to wait. EJ had something he wanted us to bring with us. And we waited. We were ready to go mid-afternoon. We waited hours. About 8 o'clock at night, they came forth with these, what we were supposed to bring, what we've been waiting for. And there were these cards. And they were very unusual cards. They said at the top, they said a note from the other side in big bubble script. About half the card said a note from the other side. And the bottom was a photograph of Bardo Town. And you've probably all seen pictures of Bardo Town. It was pictures of this model that EJ took, and they're very kind of surreal. The card was very unusual. It did not look like anything I'd ever seen before. So we took these cards and we went out to the Santa Rosa Health and Harmony Festival, which was a fabulous festival. Lots of people, lots of booths, very, very well attended. Crystals and little magnetic things you put on your wrists, and juices and all sorts of stuff. People wandering around all over the place. So we got out there, and I wasn't too keen on standing behind a booth, so I took these cards and started wandering out amongst the people and just stumbling my way through showing these to people. And I was quite amazed at what happened. When I showed these to people, they were interested. They would look through them. They would take the cards and they would just carefully look through them slowly. I was amazed that these were just people, just random people out there that were just transfixed by these cards. And I sold a few of them. And I was amazed. People gave me money for these things. And I kind of got into it, and I did it a fair bit. And came back to the Institute. We had breakfast, and I was really quite blown out by what had happened. It was just, the whole interaction was just really hit me hard. It was, in a good way. And then after that, I started doing this on my own. And I would go out various places. And I did this for a number of years. And I had quite an amazing experience. And it really changed everything about my life, everything about me. So I want to kind of take you through what it was I did and how I did it. And then after that, I can talk about the whys and what it gets me and what it's good for and what it gets the other people, and you know, all that kind of stuff, which I can talk about for hours and hours. These cards, I'm not sure how to best show these. Yanesh? No. These are the cards. These are not the original cards I got. They're a smaller version of these cards. And so what I would do is I would actually, right there, okay. Let's see. Let me just take you through the way I did this. Could you come up? Yeah. So I would just walk up. This is what I evolved over a period of time. And I just kind of want to take you through the process just so you can see what I was doing. I would pick someone out. I would not just go up to anyone. I would survey the people out there, and I'd, find someone that looked like a good black sheep. And so I would say, excuse me, can I show you some art on some? Yeah. So what I found was that people out in public, they have a shell around themselves. If someone actually goes up to approach them, they put up their resistance right away. There's a stranger coming up to talk to them. So I would go up to people and approach them. Excuse me, can I show you some art on some? And then stop. And most of the time, people would, you could see that, if someone's coming to talk to them, they kind of freeze up a little bit. But I would just sit there and wait. And if someone says no, we're just, okay, I'm gone. And if they said yes, then I would proceed. I kept my best effort in to maintain complete impartiality. If I asked someone if they wanted to see this art, it was fine. If they wanted to say no, if they wanted to say yes, it was fine. But if they said yes, I would say, these are greeting cards. They have a white insert, which you can write on. They come with a envelope, and you can look through them.
There's a message saying hard to hear when he turns away from Mike.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's true.
Have you been following? Have you been following what I said?
Let's see. Hey,
Bring that up.
just move this around here.
Okay.
Okay.
Does that work? Can you hear me?
Is the room mic?
It's gonna work.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. We had it facing that way, and he was over here talking, and
Why
we
don't you
couldn't
come over
hear.
this way just a little bit?
Okay.
Yeah, is that good? Okay, so just to kind of recap, I would approach someone, excuse me, can I show you some art I'm selling? And then stop cold. And if they said no, I was out of it. So excuse me, can I show you some art I'm selling?
Sure.
Okay. These are greeting cards. They come with a white insert that you can write on the inside like that. They have an envelope, and you can look through them. And I hand them a stack of cards. And then at this point, I wouldn't speak, but I would watch very closely, watch their hands, watch their eyes. The way people handle the cards is very telling. The way people look at the cards, the way their eyes pass across the cards, just says volumes. You can just see, you can see who they are by how they handle the cards, by how they look at the cards. Go ahead. And if they make a comment, I would respond. But mainly, I just let them look. Be silence, a lot of silence. And I'm letting there be a little silence here because that's what it was like. Just be silence. They'd be looking through the cards, just transfixed, and I wouldn't say a word. And I'd like to show these cards out there. I'm not sure the best way to do it, just so people can get a little bit of a glimpse of what they are. Could someone, just a few of the cards, just kind of give them an idea of what it looks like. No, to the camera. The camera. Yeah, just one or two cards, just so they can see what it looks like.
Is that the right place?
Yeah. That's good. There'll be time for more.
One more.
One thing you'll notice about Dr. Paul, one of his big secrets that he hasn't mentioned yet, but I'd like to say, if you don't mind,
Sure, please.
is that he is never in a hurry. What you must understand is that he is a very highly skilled physician. He doesn't need the money from the sale of the cards, not by any means. Did you mention that?
Yeah, I haven't mentioned that, but it's true.
It's true.
The money is not.
He doesn't need money from sales of cards. He's a physician, a very well-paid physician, a very skillful physician, and he knows a great deal about medicine. He's a very, very well-paid medical provider, medical needs provider. Now, with that in mind, you can imagine his bedside manner is also going to be just as relaxed, just as confident, and just as permissive, allowing someone to talk rather than to tell them what's wrong with them. He lets them talk and says, "Tell me what's going on with you. Let's ignore the machines. Let's talk just you and me."
Right.
So that's what he's doing here. It's part of his natural. He takes it for granted because he thinks that everybody should be talking and doing that and treating each other this way, and it's true, but they don't. So you don't take for granted what he is saying, what he's doing here. Watch carefully what he's doing because he's giving a lot of space to her to be herself and do what she wants to do with it, and to say no, to reject this, accept that, and so forth, or nothing, have no reaction, whatever. And one of the things you mentioned about the hands is very important because the mime studies the hands a lot. The hands, the face, not as much as the hands. The hands and the posture tell a lot. And how somebody goes through the cards will tell you whether they're actually going to buy them or not.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll let you continue.
Yes. The way that people handle the cards. You know, some people. If I would pick the wrong person, if I picked a white sheet, really white, and I hand them the cards, and they're gonna kind of flip through them. They won't even look at all the cards. They'll just kind of, like this. But other people, they'll take them and they'll hold them like they're gold or something. They're just, oh my gosh, and they look at them slowly.
Tell me at this point, people who are looking through these, I've had people look through my artwork. And, Claude will tell you the story of this gal at the museum later. When he gets back on stage, we'll tell the story about the gal at the museum who used to come to the museum. But I know you really well. I know that you don't care whether she's going to buy or not, but her interest does interest you.
Yes.
Okay. Let's proceed. Because that doesn't matter whether she buys it. Maybe she says, "I don't have any money." That's not the issue. That's not at all the thing. She's enjoying looking at the cards, and that tells him something.
Right. Yes, that's absolutely true. What I love most of all is someone's, they're interested and they're looking carefully through these, and I love watching the person's eyes. I even have the sense that watching someone's eyes as they were looking at the cards actually produced a tangible effect within myself. Just watching their eyes change something for me. And that's what I love most, is just watching their eyes play across the cards. So they've looked through them. I say, were there any in there that struck you particularly? Do you have something you particularly liked?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you show me?
There was a scene, this one.
Yes.
I felt like I wanted to go there.
That's great. Can you tell me anything more about that?
Can I interrupt you a second? I hate to spoil this. I gotta tell you something. I got a sneaky that goes in here that I learned from Sunny, Lisa's mom. Sunny was a marketer. Her mom was a marketer. Get her to show you which card she likes best, which she relates to the best. She just picked one out. Go ahead, get that card. Okay. Take that card from her. Take the other cards away from her. Hand her that card back. Like that. Tell me something about this scene. What do you see here? What's happening here? Just tell me something about this. You relate to this, don't you? There's something about this that's important to you. Let's find out tell me something about this scene. What's happening here? What's going on? Tell me. Look at the scene. Look at it. And just describe. What do you see? What do you actually see there? Never mind what might be going on, but what do you see?
There's some cars and some
How many
Some
cars?
animals.
How many cars?
there's two, maybe a caravan of some.
What kind of cars are they? Older cars?
They're
Newer
older cars.
Older cars.
Yeah, like maybe from
Oh,
the early.
are they very
60s.
detailed or are they kind of plain?
They're kind of plain.
Oh, that's
Some
a-
have writing on them.
Well, that's interesting. Is there a house there anywhere?
There's
A building of some kind? A
to
building?
the left.
Oh, tell me about the building.
It's kind of plain too. It has a lot of windows.
What kind of building would it be? Kind of residential or commercial? Or
Maybe commercial at the
Commercial.
bottom and
Oh.
then
and
maybe apartments at the top.
tell me about that. What's in the bottom? Tell me the commercial thing. What's in there? What's in the commercial? What kind of shop is it? What kind of place is it?
Maybe like some goods of
Yeah.
some goods.
Okay, great. And upstairs, how many people are living up there?
Like 3 families.
Okay, and what year is this? Tell me the year. Come on, that's it. Yeah, that year. Come on, tell me.
18.
Yeah? Yeah, come on, what you were going to say.
1857.
Thank you. 1850. I know that's right. 1857. You know that's right, too. It gives you a chill, doesn't it? Would you like to know why? Okay, we'll talk about it. What I'd like you to do first is buy the card.
Right. Well, that's
It's your planet. I'm just trying to use the tech.
That's very nice. That's very nice. I learned a lot there. That's tremendous. That's tremendous. So someone I point that out, and I say, would you like to get it? Would you like to get that card? Sure. Okay. Great.
Now I want you to keep the card. Make her keep it.
Yeah.
She
Yes.
should.
Yes.
You gotta
Absolutely.
keep that card. That's a souvenir.
Yes.
You can't buy it. You have to keep it.
Okay. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes. Here's an envelope and the
This
inserter
card,
inside.
give it what you-
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh. Thank
It's
you.
very nice. Good. Thank you very much. Typically, I wouldn't stop with one set. I've got a set of Bardo cards, and I've got other sets too. And typically, I'd use the Bardo set just to kind of open people's eyes because they're so unusual, and they will stop people in their tracks because people don't know what they are. I've had people go through the whole deck of 20, 24 cards, and afterwards say, "Where is this?" Other people will go through 2 or 3 cards and say, "Oh, this is a model, isn't it?" And it's very interesting to see how long it takes people to pick that
You
up.
want the people that know it's a model. Those are your people.
Yes, yes.
The ones who say, "Where is this?" All you're going to do is sell them a trip to Hawaii, 4 days, 3 nights.
Right. And then, so typically I would go through, the way I would actually do it out there is I would go through these cards, and then I would say, I've got some others too. And then I'd take these back and then go through another set of cards which has EJ's art on it. And these are typically very striking, and show a few of these too, but it's the same format with art in there. I would go through the same process. Typically, I would find most people would buy the art rather than the Bardo cards, but some people bought the Bardo cards.
Now, how much are these things?
Well, the original price way back when was $3,
Yeah.
and then it was up to $5, and I think nowadays it's going to have to be $7 or $9.
Yeah, $6.95 is a fair
Yeah.
price. $9.95 is also a fair price
Uh-huh.
because there's a lot going into those cards. There's a lot goes into them. You can't imagine how much goes in and how much cost there is. It's really high, like $4.50 to produce it.
And the quality is really important, because people really strike them. I've sold these in Europe, in Amsterdam, and Oslo, and Hamburg, and I've had the comment, these are from Europeans. These are really nice.
For American cards, these
Yes,
are
for
great.
Right, exactly. And so I would go through, would you like to get this? They say, I let them ask me usually, how much is it? They'll ask me, and I'll say, I'll tell them how much. And we go through the transaction. And then I don't leave, I stay there. And then we start to talk. And at this point, unless people are in a hurry, they are very willing to talk. And I just let the conversation go where it will. And this is one of the most amazing things for me is when I came here way back when, I had a very hard time talking fluidly. I was up in my head thinking about what I was going to say before I said it. And selling these cards and this whole process brought me to the point where I could speak without thinking, where I could just speak fluidly. And the way it was perceived for me was that the way I came to it is I just let the words assemble themselves on the flow of something. It was something that really felt like it was flowing from behind me, through me, to them. And I really just worked to just let myself just disengage completely and just let the words just say whatever, you know, the heck I wanted. And
a lot of that has to do with the fact that, you know, he's not going to tell you this, but when you fight with your ego wants to assemble the words and be right and be admired, and, you know, everybody's looking at you and they're thinking about you and they're going to remember what you said forever and all so on and so on. And eventually you have enough life experience and enough work experience to know that that is not only is that not true, but they're just thinking about what they're going to say. They're not even listening to you typically. So, right. Yeah, they don't care. And you could humiliate yourself to smithereens in front of millions of people. And of those millions of people, not one of them would remember 5 minutes later that you had just been humiliated. The only one's going to remember and blush with shame will be you.
And you know, it's interesting you point that out because you had given me some advice years ago. I'd asked you a question about talking, and your response to me was, EJ's response to me was, exploit your weaknesses. Exploit your weaknesses. And the way I took that was, you know, I was shy. I was very concerned about what I said. You know, I was very concerned that, oh, if I'm going to say the wrong thing.
Sorry, Paul, 1 second. We missed the part about exploit your weaknesses, which was the most important thing.
We missed it, okay. So I had, before around the time I started selling these cards, I'd asked EJ, are we on now? Yeah. I'd asked EJ about talking. This was my question at the time. And EJ had said, I don't recall the exact question, but EJ's response was, exploit your weaknesses. And the way I took that with selling these cards was, you know, if my weaknesses, if I can't get my words out well, if I can't speak well and so forth, if I'm just way off the track, just put it out there because, damn it, I see that, I feel it, it hits me hard. You know, if I'm out there talking to people and I just let myself go and I make a fool of myself, that really hits me hard. But I found that very, very valuable, and it gave me a great freedom to realize that even if I messed up, that was actually the best. You know, if I messed up, then you know, that put me back on track. And when you're out with people on the street, you know, it's a very honest environment. People are not going to stick around just to make you feel better. You know,
they are on their way somewhere.
Exactly.
Yes, and for money. They're on their way somewhere to earn money, get money, spend money, whatever kind of. It's about money. And you're there representing a possible loss of income.
or more, you know, whatever. They don't know.
Well,
whatever they're imagining.
Not only do they have to stop in their tracks, but they're going to give you money too. I mean, they're going to pay you to go out of their way to lose time. And they're headed toward a box. They've got to get there now. It's a box they live in, a box they drive in, or the box they end up being buried in.
And the box in their head, because they're walking down the street with the box in their head, all their little, whatever they're going through. And I stop them and I say, excuse me, can I show you some art I'm selling? And listen, if they don't like the tone of my voice, if they don't like the way that I look, if I send up red flags in their head, you know, if somehow they get, you know, something clicks in their head and they think, oh, this is some weirdo, you know, they're out of there. You know, they're not going to stop. They're going to say no, you know, and they're
so going. you know, this is I want to show you some cards.
Right. So
the voice behind my left eyebrow is telling me I must sell these cards. Buy one now, please. Don't make me kill. Again.
There was a question about your opening line.
Yes.
They wanted to clarify what that was, and my question is if you can explain a little bit about why you came up with that.
Okay. Well, when I started out with this, I was just stumbling. I didn't know. And over a period of time, I crafted the particular sequence of words, which was my opening line. Now, there are probably a lot of other things that could work, but this is what worked for me, and I ended up with one particular opening line, which I almost never vary, which is, excuse me, can I show you some art I'm selling? And the reason that's valuable, I think, is because it's succinct. It's important to convey to the other person what you're doing. They need to get an understanding immediately why you're there, what you want. It has to make sense to them. So, can I show you some art I'm selling? Okay, they get this. I'm selling art. I'm looking for money. You know, it registers with them. They understand what's happening.
Well, it's a fair and honest approach, because what you're saying is, this is what I want from you. Do you want to talk to me?
Exactly.
And that's so different from what they usually get. You know? Hey, look at this art. It's different. Hey, look at this. Oh, that's nice. You want to buy it? No.
Right. And once I've done that, if a person says yes, we have an agreed upon agenda. We know what we're doing, and we know what's expected of them, and so forth.
Paul, one of the things you mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I think is very important here, which is that once you've made, whatever the sale is, you make one sale or no sale, whatever it might be, but if you make one sale, one card, they buy even one card from you, you are friends. And you can talk about other things now.
Right.
This is so important. That
Yes.
opens the door right there.
It does. And EJ made a point of not getting into the conversation before you completed the sale. And I would talk if they wanted to talk about the cards, but basically it was focused towards, would you like to get any? And once we'd had the exchange of money, and they'd given me their email address and so forth, and we'd done all that, then I'd get into the conversation, and that's where the real juice is. This is, what we've talked about, this is just the lead-in to where the real juice is. And the real juice is in the time spent with the person afterwards.
You can think of the card sale itself as foreplay. I don't mean sexual. I don't mean sexual. Sexual foreplay in this culture is amyl nitrate. Yeah.
Yes, but he's right, because at that point you're in a communication, and now these cards I like quite a bit, because these aren't the original cards, but these were modeled after the original cards. It says a note from the other side. So people all the time are going to say, well, what's the other side? Okay, well now I invite any of you to answer that question. What's the other side? Well, and so there are a million ways to answer that question.
And it does depend on who's asking, doesn't it?
It does.
Like if a born again is asking, like, what's the other side? What do you answer?
That's a little more tricky, yeah.
No. You say, I always do it the Jewish way. A friend of mine asked a psychiatrist friend of ours. You even know it was Joe. So they asked him, how come psychiatrists and rabbis always answer a question with another question? Why is that they do that? And so Joe turns to him and he says, why do you think they do that? So there's two things you can use here. There's little tricks you can use. One of those tricks is to turn it back to them. What do you think is happening? What do you think is going on? What do you tell me about you? And don't do it the movie star style. Enough about me. Let's talk about you. How did you like my last movie? To which you should respond, oh, was it your last? It's an Oscar Lefant. Yeah. There's one other thing. If you fail to make the sale, if the sale is blown, it's not going to happen anyway. There's a last-minute save, again from Sonny. I learned this. Lisa's mom. And what you do is you say, what do I need to tell you to allow yourself, that will allow you to buy the card from me? What do I need to tell you that will let you do this, that will let you buy this card? Well, you need to tell me that the card is made of paper. Well, it is. Oh, then I'll take it. What happened is somebody set up a condition in their mind that is the condition of sale, and you have to meet the condition of sale, and you fail to find it. You fail to find their last objection. And a salesperson's job is to help the customer overcome their objections so that they can allow themselves, permit themselves to buy the item. because the item is not what they're after. The item is a souvenir of a great interaction.
That's right. The card is a souvenir of the interaction. It's something they take home with them. It's something they put on the stand by their bed. It's something that stays with them for days, weeks, months, years.
Or they share with friends.
Or they send it to their best friend, to their parents. And EJ has mentioned various ways of taking that sale further. I haven't gone down that, and I probably have a lot to learn in that domain. But I have done this, and it works without doing that. My questions have been, excuse me, can I show you some art I'm selling? And would you like to get one? And if they said no, I didn't go much further, and I didn't really need to know very much to be able to do that. It's very simple, and I can tell you, I can testify that the process does work even without those sales techniques of
Oh, absolutely. No. Yeah. You don't need any sales technique at all. You can actually stand on a street corner and just proffer the cards, and people will come by and buy from you. They'll look at you and understand you're selling, and that you're not going to talk to them, and you just show the cards to them, and they buy or don't buy, and that is really the basic. It's a transactional event, and if they understand you and what you are, if you feel safe to them, that's the most important thing. If you feel safe to them, they will approach you. You don't have to walk up to them. They'll come to you and they'll say, "What do you got there? What's that? What are you doing?" That happens to me all the time. When I go into town, people walk up to me. "What are you selling? What are those things? Are you selling those?" "Yes, I am. Would you like to take a look?" "Sure." So it worked kind of. I want to talk about feminine attraction in this one moment. Just hang on a second. Feminine attraction. You spend 2 hours in front of a makeup mirror. Girls, I'm not talking to folks. I'm not talking to the ones in earshot. The ones who are listening to me do not do this. You understand what I'm saying? But you know some who do, who spend 2 hours, even 3 and 4 hours in front of a makeup mirror, handling their hair, doing their face, doing the whole deal, getting some cleavage. And am I wrong? I'm right. So, yeah. And why? Is it worth doing that? Why is it? What makes it worth doing that? What makes it worth doing that is the potential there of holding on to a particular position, whether it's social, sexual, dynamic, whatever it might be, in terms of relationship kind of thing. There's always this dilemma on the feminine side of attraction, attractiveness, being attractive, being the flower, the bee. The male is the bee and the girl is the flower, And we're sitting here waiting, looking pretty. But that is the game. That's the way the game is played. In the sense that someone is standing and looking for this, waiting for this to happen, waiting for some kind of recognition from somebody else. Along comes somebody like Dr. Paul, who clearly doesn't need the money, is not really, he's not a card salesman. He's not a greeting card salesman. It's so important to understand. This is what Claude talks about with re-origining yourself. He's not. He's a doctor out there showing some artwork that he's selling. Why is he selling it? Because he can't afford to give it away forever. If he gave it away, he'd be broke in no time. He'd give away thousands of these things a day. If you give it away, everybody will take one and throw